Right. Can you hear yourself?
Check, check.
Can you hear yourself?
Checkity, check, check.
I can hear myself, and go ahead.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the morning of the Big Hammock premiere. How excited are we, gentlemen?
Man, it's great. Got up early this morning to get here.
I'm telling you. Hey, listen, we've got Malcolm again, director of the movie, Big Hammock. Very excited to have him back on the Big Hammock podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
This one here is first time guest, the star of the show, the game warden, Damon Vitale.
Woo!
Okay. Hey, thanks.
That's the
Yeah,
crowd.
I got you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah,
No worries.
good
Thank
stuff.
you for coming.
Yeah,
Damon.
absolutely.
And we wanted to kind of talk about some of the things you've done prior to the movie before we get into the movie.
Mhm.
Hellphone, you were a part of that.
Small part, yeah, very small part. That was actually the second film. The very, very, very first film I was in, and where I met Malcolm was a little thing called Signal Lost.
That was next on the list.
Yeah, that was first, and then it was Hellphone.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk really about Signal Lost
Uh-huh.
because, to your point, that is where you met Malcolm at.
Right.
Tell us
Right.
about your experience. You can talk about the experience with the movie. You can talk about the
Yeah.
experience of meeting Malcolm.
Yeah.
Whatever, which
Yeah.
way you want to go with that.
So, growing up, through life, you have people that say, man, you should be an actor, man. You're such a character, and the way you tell stories and all that. And it's something that you think, how do I even begin to do that? And way back when Signal Lost, was an idea, it was put on Craigslist. They said, I went to Craigslist, looked for actors and voiceover stuff and things like that. Excuse me. And I responded to the Craigslist ad, and it was we all met at like downtown in a park somewhere, and we all kind of did our thing. And as soon as they saw me, they said, "Oh, you're gonna be the bad guy," like already right off the bat. So then we did a table read, and I was a Scarface, and that's where I met Malcolm. He was on set with I think he did lighting,
Sound.
sound.
Yeah, I had the sound, the boom pole.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you did do sound, but you were telling the lighting guys what to do. That's right.
Right.
They didn't know. Right. Common. So, and we just struck up conversation, and my nephew grew up with Malcolm, so he was already kind of vetted through me, and I said, we know about this guy Malcolm, and oh man, great guy, wonderful dude. So we hit it off immediately, and then we've kept in contact through different mediums and things like that.
Very cool. And he was telling me about those, the Signal Loss experience, and he told me he vetted all the things you talked about, knowing your nephew. And I do know that he definitely wanted you involved. We were talking about it together before this podcast, and he told me that he specifically called you. And I've talked about, Jake getting the first phone call for the writing. But Malcolm told me that he actually called you before he even started writing this film.
Yeah. He called me up, and Malcolm's quick on, hey, let me run an idea by you, right? So I'm sure you guys have heard that as well. And so
I got an idea.
he called me up. He goes, listen, he tells me the whole, a roundabout way. He tells me the story, and he says, but the deal is, I wrote this part, and he goes, when I wrote this part, or when he had this idea, this concept of a character, I guess. He goes, I'm thinking about you, like nobody else, like your military experience in the past, and just knowing Woods, you're the guy that I'm thinking about when I wrote this. And I said, all right, so we'll see. And then I think he blew you off for a couple months and didn't say a whole lot. And he was persistent. And he goes, hey, at least let me drop off the script. I'll let you read the script, and you tell me from there. And unlike some of us, not to mention, I just did not read my parts, because I didn't want it to be all about me. I wanted to share the experience.
Thank you.
And how and how my character would interact with other people, in the cast, because you did cast more than one person.
I did.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
So, because I wasn't sure if I would play every part.
Right.
So that's why I read everything.
Thank you.
Because I wanted to understand your entire vision.
And I
film.
Way to get fried.
But I don't know who else has done that. From what I understand, of course we would all read everyone's part, right?
You would think so.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he dropped the script off, and I read it, and it was fantastic. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, you know what? at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of people, man, working together to help one man reach his dream to becoming an independent filmmaker.
And that is
You've
facts.
probably heard that a lot.
So tell him about the first table read you showed up to.
Oh, was the AC was broken?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't remember, like, in regards to how it went.
Yeah, like, so you didn't show up to every one of them, did you? You showed up to, I think you could only make it to like a couple because you was back and forth from Tallahassee.
Right.
And
So,
I think you made it like, but what'd you
I
think
think
like
there
the
was
first one
two.
you showed up to? Like
Well,
once we all sat down and like read through it.
Yeah, and when you sit down for a table read, it should not be the first time that you've ever read it. Like, meaning that
I'm getting roasted on
I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
Don't tell on yourself. You're telling on yourself right now. I didn't mention anybody's name. Okay. So what happens is I was already developing my character in a sense of, and half of it went out the window, but I was developing, like, what would this guy look like? What would he act like? What would his behavior be? Would he show any emotion at all whatsoever? Would he always be perpetually irritated because he's old and he's on his way out? And a table read is designed to help to kind of, it's your first interaction of character. There's no cameras on, and you just kind of talk amongst each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there's one part in the film where I think I cuss or I yell or something like that. And a lot of people were taken aback by that. Like, they got scared in the table read when I come out really loud. And they said, "Oh my God, like, you're kind of intimidating." And it was all downhill from there.
It was fun though.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I'll tell you this: you were definitely at the table read that I was at, and I enjoyed it. There was a couple of people that didn't make it. I don't know why you would miss a table read, but
Yeah,
right.
I made it, and you made it, and I was impressed myself with what you were doing, and you were talking out loud about these things. Like, you came there intentionally. You brought up, I'm thinking about wearing this. I'm thinking about doing that.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about what kind of pistol. Would he have an old wheel gun?
Yep.
Or would he have a like a modern semi-automatic? And it's good to paint the picture, even though you don't know where you're going to be at. You're going to be in a restaurant, so you're painting the picture of how you're going to talk. What would he do? What would he act? And I've never had training whatsoever, but in my brain, I am thinking, what would the viewer want to see? What would he want to watch? What would he or she want to watch? And it's interesting because Malcolm didn't let me watch anything because he knows I can be super, super critical. If I don't look right when I say something, or I need to enunciate better. And he never, a couple of times, he let me look at some things over his shoulder, but he would never say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And we're watching me act it out. Oh no, I gotta turn my head better, or I gotta do more movement. He didn't do any of that with me, so I'm terrified for tomorrow, for today.
Yeah, but that's because he is the type that if you show him something, it'll never be perfect. He's just gonna be like, "Oh no, we gotta do." I mean, there would be times in the middle of a take, I'd even yell, "Cut!" We're just going on. He's like, "Nah, start it back over," and he would just like, I was like, "That was actually going really good." Like, I don't know why, but that's just how he is. He's critical of himself.
I mean, obviously, I had scenes with him, right? Our characters interacted, and I'll tell you, I don't. Was the diner scene the first one you filmed, or had you started filming?
That was the first one.
That's the very first. Like, so we did like smaller stuff, like the news. Thing.
Okay.
That was the first one, but the actual like legit scripted scene was the diner scene.
So, full on transparency, Damon. I'm glad you were there because I followed your lead throughout that whole thing. And I followed your lead throughout the entire movie, whether you were in the scene or not, right?
Wow.
Like, you legitimately showed me the ropes on what good looks like.
Come on.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'm serious. I'm telling you, Damon, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
And I had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And you were the pro. And you never even walked around like I'm the pro or anything, right? Like, you know, but you were the pro that showed us the way to do things, and I took it from there.
I appreciate
you know,
that.
so
So
it,
much so that he got the same haircut and beard trim as you. If you didn't know.
All right, we're brothers, man.
That's how influential you are
right.
to him.
Wow.
yeah.
No, Zach, you were great to work with. You were easy to work with.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you.
we did vibe very well
Yeah.
together, and I enjoyed it immensely. And you know, the diner scene, you know, I had no idea that this guy's hair was on fire the whole time, figuring out how to turn a camera
I didn't
on.
either.
No,
I didn't.
man, this guy's under pressure.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they're right under pressure. Yeah, everything's fine. Has no idea how to turn it on. Yeah, everything's great, man. You guys hungry? You want something to drink? You know, and meanwhile, he's got his phone on speaker talking to Travis
Like,
about how to make it work, man.
I'm like,
I never knew that.
If-
I never knew that.
if you realized that refrigerator could not be quiet enough.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time.
We unplugged it.
We tried it. Yeah, that kind of killed my stalling. Like, I was like, oh, they got smart and they unplugged it. I was hoping we would just keep working on quieting it down while I tried to figure out how to work
Yeah, right.
And it's like,
Insane.
whoop, they just
Had
unplugged
no
it. I'm
idea.
like, snap. All right, I
Had
guess
no
it's
idea.
go time.
Me
Had
neither.
no idea.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with
crazy.
you.
Pressure was on.
Crazy. And that's where we decided we were all talking because at the end of every scene, we'd all go home and then I'd call Malcolm like 30 minutes later.
He would call me after every
Yeah.
shoot and be like, "Did you get what you need? Did you
Yeah.
get what you need?" Like, he was so like, "Are you sure? Do we have to reshoot anything?" I'm like, "No, Damon."
Yeah, and
we
even
got it."
like in a big production, you have people that work on consistency in the film, right? So I remember I'm getting my food to go and I'm walking out,
Mm-hmm.
and in the power of time and the power of magic and film, you can make it look like you're coming out of another building, but it looks like the same building, right? So I said, "Hey, wait a minute, man! I need a to-go box." Like I remember leaving the building.
Yes.
I was so surprised you remembered that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
'cause
when I
I
walk
didn't.
out, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have this to-go box in my
Yep.
hand,
Yep.
and that's just a little Easter egg for all you guys out there.
Yeah.
So, and that's when I said, "Hey, we talk about details, right?"
Yeah.
And there was a time where even something as far as my glasses, because I need glasses to see, but I didn't want the character to wear glasses, and I would say, "Man, we just shot the whole film with my glasses on," you know. So he worked it in. We did some different things.
Yeah, he worked it in the bloopers.
You're right, right. I probably did. Yeah.
Needless to say, the character does have glasses on and off throughout the film.
Perfect.
But, you know,
Perfect.
it's when
Yeah.
you're driving.
Right.
It's driving glasses.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But that's why it's such a collaborative effort, because there's no way to do it by yourself, because I was in that scene he's talking about too, is I was also acting, right, doing my cameo.
Yep.
So
Right.
now I'm worried about, is the sound running right? Is the camera
Right.
running right? Because normally
Right.
I'm the one behind those things.
Yep.
So like the thought of the consistency of continuity didn't even occur to me. I
And
was
he
just like,
saved it.
yeah, and
he
he's
saved
like,
it.
I was just worried about getting the
It was a
shot.
good. I was impressed with that catch that you remember, because that was how many weeks after? It could have been months after.
I think it was like a month after.
And you know, I gotta have a thing. And then we had this. We were like, oh no.
We don't have one.
Luckily,
Right, but we did have one.
We
yeah.
had
That's
one.
why I was there at the restaurant.
Yep.
But
Right.
Damon, you've talked about your experiences in previous films, experience in this film. Is there anything different? Like, could you name some things that are different from this film to previous experiences you had? Anything stick out in your mind? Because I've heard stories from Malcolm, for example. There was one film you guys did that really wasn't a script. It was, here's the plot, now you guys go act it. And it turned into, worked out that the film, for the film came into fruition that way. But we had a script. We definitely we started out sticking to the script,
Right.
but then we always
Right.
threw our own things in there. What was is there something else that you could maybe talk about that was different that you liked? Or
Yeah, every production's different, right? The big thing is you have a vision and you try to stick along the same lines of that vision as long as you can, and not try to make it up as you go along. Because everyone, once you do that, and if there's any kind of doubt amongst everybody, you're not going to have a good result, in the sense that no one's going to trust the process, right? And I think that's why I was probably maybe one of the only people that was ever critical on our film, is the fact that I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything I could, because I know it meant a lot more to him. I enjoy this; it's fun, but I can't imagine directing a movie. I can't imagine writing a film. That's just beyond my comprehension. There's no way I can do that.
Yep.
I would rather just, be in theater and do this, in a sense.
I'm with you.
Yeah. And, when you get, when I say you think about a character, like I'm in the shower, I'm before I go to bed, I'm on the way to work, I'm thinking about this guy and him in the film, and rehearsing these scenes. Because, when you read the entire script, you'll know that what your character will be doing throughout the entire film. So I'm rehearsing those thoughts in my head. What would he say? Would he look mean? Would he look upset? Would he look happy or sad? And you kind of develop all that. And when you work with other people that are willing to do that, and then you kind of energize each other, right? That's why we work so well together. You're feeding off my energy. I'm kind of feeding off your energy.
Yep.
And the most frustrating thing is if someone else doesn't take that serious.
Yeah.
And they don't know their words. They don't even know what's happening right now. And it's very, very, very frustrating.
Yeah, because you put all that passion into it. First thing you think of when you go to sleep, in the shower, all that time and effort and seriousness you've taken into, and you didn't get the same thing in return.
You try your best to be humble, and you try your best to kind of stay in your lane. I know there's times where I wanted to profusely apologize and say, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here. Like, seriously, what's going on? And we work through those things, and we're not going to go into detail about them, but it's just I can't imagine, as you go along and you progress and you get a name for yourself, more people will start wanting to work with you, and then you'll have a better group of individuals that are like, hey, listen, I'm really serious about this, right? Because at the end of the day, as businesses grow, the weak fall to the side, in a sense. So
right.
Yeah.
But what I liked about this film, back to your point, is we pretty much stayed on task with the entire operation of the vision we wanted. We didn't think halfway through the film that we should make him have two heads or nothing like that. So it was pretty cool to kind of stay in the lines of what the vision was.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I did like the we stuck to it, but he also wanted our input on it. Right. Like our import was important. It was important to him.
Right.
He did. If there was something that we had, that we felt strongly about, let's try it. Let's do it. He wanted everybody to he wanted their best out of everybody. And if they had an idea and it was going to bring the best out of them, go for it. I really had fun with that.
And it was important we all set the tone prior to filming, right? Okay. It's hot. We're joking around. Let's try to tighten it up a little bit. Let's get the scene knocked out of the way. I know I can joke around, but I know I could flip it and be real serious and say, let's get this done and get ready for the next scene. But yeah.
Well, the happy medium, I think, is where this is where I really appreciate it. Was we had fun, even though like there was frustrating moments. You're not gonna have perfect moments all the time, but it never got to the point where we was like, none of us want to be here. Right? At least not with me. I never got to where I don't want to be here. It's like we had fun, right? We joked around, but we also was like, when it was time to like kick into gear, we kicked into gear, and we got the scene done of what we needed. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really liked about it, and that's why too. The people that took more initiative into developing their character, which I didn't ask that of everybody, right? Like there was some people I knew that it was just they're gonna say the exact lines that's on the paper, and they're okay with that, and I'm okay with that because I understand this isn't their passion, right? They're doing me a favor. So I had to look at it like that. Like they don't want to be an actor, right? They just wanted to help me fulfill my dream, right? Yeah. So it's like I already knew that those people I was going to be more directive for because they told me that. Like, look, you're going to tell me exactly what you want. You know what I mean? To where Damon tried that. He's like, you need to tell me what you want. And I'm like, no, you need to do what you think you need to do because you're going to come up with a better idea than what I'm going to come up with. He did
do that.
And I cannot wait to see this movie. I can't wait to talk to you this afternoon after it's done. I really can't because... I I really want to see your reaction specifically, because I know, I'm looking across here at
Yeah.
somebody who's very passionate about what they did, somebody who hasn't seen it, who's been very specific, like, I have to see these things, and I was set off to the side, and maybe I'm putting the movie over too much. I really think you're gonna be very
Thank you.
pleased, Damon.
Thank you.
I think you're gonna be pleased,
Yeah.
and throughout all this, I think in the future, the loyalty to Malcolm and what he's done, throughout this movie, finishing it up, and then the jump cut challenge.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to finish what you were talking about earlier. Talking about being loyal to the guy and maybe he's got another movie. I'm losing his number after today.
You're losing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna block him.
Is it over the jump cut challenge?
Yeah,
It's because he
So-
knows.
Oh man.
He knows I'm going to ask him to be in the next one.
Yeah. Listen. So here's how it went down. You had to write, direct, film, produce, edit a movie from nothing to a film on the screen in 72 hours. It doesn't sounds like you have plenty of time. You have to write the entire script. You have to get actors. You film it, you edit it, and you format it, and you put it in the thing. And we did. I don't know if you guys did. You could probably already were there 20 minutes early. We were literally running to the meeting spot, like literally running with the thumb drive in our hand, going, "Hey, we got it." But prior to all that, I knew it was coming around, and we had just finished. We just wrapped up with Signal Lost, and I knew Travis had a little production program, and I called him up. And I said, "Hey, man, they got this thing. It's called Jump Cut Challenge. It's 72 hours. You can do it. You guys can do this?" Nah, we're not going to do it. I'm like, "Guys, come on, man. Nah, we're not going to do it." He blows me off. So I have this other group of people going, "Hey, listen, we know you worked for Signal Lost, but come work for us. We're going to do this thing. We're going to knock it out." I said, "Sounds good." Because, hey, I'm a free agent, right? We are in this thing. Like we haven't signed, we're kind of signed up for it,
Your team is?
Our team is
right?
signed up.
Yeah.
Like it's like 0 hour. Somebody's phone rings. It's mine. "Hey man, hey, what's up, Malcolm? You still doing this jump cut thing?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, so are we." Yeah. So are we.
He backstabbed you.
Well,
No.
he looked at me when he did it. So are we. Yeah. He didn't know the back. He did it right in my chest. Yeah. So,
Bro, I still feel bad about
So
it.
what was the result of that?
yeah.
Keep going.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
So the day comes.
Yeah. I'm like, "Hey man, we got this." We should have stuck together. We got this, bro. I'm like, "You think?" He goes, "You think?" I go, "Yeah, we got it." Bro, we're done. Like, start the truck. We're leaving. You guys are leaving early. So we get there, and it's a big event. It's down at the Marion Theater. I mean, they have the marquee signs up. They have the backdrops. Everyone's taking pictures. The energy was exciting.
How many groups were there?
Oh man, there's quite a bit.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe 6 or 8.
I think there was like 6.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and local,
Mhm.
theater professionals from around Ocala were the judges, and it was quite a deal. Like we turned it in, and they went to a room and watched every film, judged it,
Mhm.
and then the results were played that night in Marion Theater. You watched all the films, then they announced who the winner was.
What a fun time.
And the film had to be 15 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
So you had to tell a story in 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Malcolm, we're done. I said, "You guys are done. We got this." They show all the films. Everybody's clapping. Okay. And I think you guys, I think we got 3rd place.
Yeah.
And I think you guys got like 3 different awards.
We got 8.
I stopped listening after 3. Stop listening.
We got 8 awards. We got the
8
most
awards.
awards.
8 awards. 8 awards.
And that was your group.
And
that was your group.
Right. And that's when I realized that I'll never stray away from Malcolm again. That's when I realized he's my bro.
Listen, it was it was a last minute thing, bro. It's
Travis ain't said much about it, but shout out to Trav. Yeah.
You did really good in it though. You did really good. Listen, you
Is there
really
something else
did.
in that notebook we can talk about? You did really good.
You did really
Oh my
good,
gosh.
though. You killed
Wow.
it.
Stop.
Bro, you killed it, bro.
Stop. You did really good. Thanks.
I'm just saying, you did really good.
Thank you. God almighty.
I all I know is that I cannot wait for tonight. We've been talking about this movie all week.
Yeah.
We've been promoting the heck out of it on Facebook the last month. You know, I know that you know, we're all going to be there.
Yeah.
We were talking. What are you wearing? Curious. I'm serious. Like, some of the guys were talking about wearing suits. Like, you didn't watch the third season or the third.
What am I
episode
wearing?
yet.
Well, somebody suggested I wear my Ward and Wayne outfit.
See, somebody told me to show up in character too.
1,000% absolutely no.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Nice try.
Was that you?
But for a small fee, we'll auction off his entire outfit for you.
Right, you would get the most money out of everybody on the production. If
So
you...
I maybe I should go ahead and tell you guys today that I will donate my hat that I wore in the film.
Nice.
To be auctioned off for a mere $5, whoever wants it.
Nice.
Yeah, any money.
So you get some money.
The residual checks.
We only go home with what you give us tonight. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Residual checks ain't came in yet.
Right.
They're on the way.
Y'all got any more of them scripts? Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, good times.
So we look, 7:00 tonight, showtime. 6:00 theater's going to be ready for us. Red carpet event.
Yeah, and I think there's a Q&A afterwards, right?
Q&A afterwards. Yeah. We are raffling off movie props.
Yep.
There's the 4:00 pre-party at the Shuck and Shack. So it's going to be a fun day today. You know, if you haven't got your tickets yet, they are running thin.
Yeah.
Get them now. And we don't want you to show up at the door wanting to get in and there's nothing there for you. So go ahead and get your tickets now. Yeah. And with that being said,
all right,
that's a wrap.
See y'all in a little bit.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.